Hello friends, in this video presentation I'll be explaining you regarding the different service reservoirs and what are their requirements or the functions that they carry, and then what are the different types of service reservoirs, and finally how the capacity of these reservoirs is being worked out. So first, what is a service reservoir? Now it is nothing but a reservoir or a tank wherein the water is being stored, which is the treated one. After treatment, it is being stored in the reservoirs. Why it is called as service reservoirs? Because it serves certain purposes, such as fire. If there is any fire breakout, then it serves that, and if there is any breakdown, in the case of pumping unit etc., if there is any breakdown in it, or when there is no power supply, in such cases it is helpful. And also during repairs, if there is any repair work to be carried out in the treatment plant, then this is going to help us, and also to absorb the hourly fluctuations in the normal water demand. You might be remembering what are the hourly fluctuations. In the first module, the hourly variations were being explained using a graph, how it varies. In the early morning it will be very less, it goes on increasing. Do you remember that? So those variations or the fluctuations which are there in the normal water demand, that to cater to that also the service reservoirs are required. Okay, so coming to the functions of it, the same thing, that is, in order to absorb the hourly variations in the demand, and also if there is any repair work to be done, whether in the treatment units or in the pumps, then these it has to like substantiate those loopholes, and also they help in maintaining constant pressure in the distribution system. And also the water that is stored in these reservoirs can be supplied during emergencies, and also it leads to an overall economy. How? By reducing the sizes of the pumps, pipelines, and treatment units. Otherwise, directly if it has to be supplied from the treatment units, then we need bigger units to cater to the need. When we have the reservoirs, the treated water can be stored here, and whatever amount of water is to be distributed can be balanced. Okay, so there are two types of service reservoirs. One is the surface reservoir and the other one is the elevated reservoir. So let me go to the surface reservoir. Here you can see that this is the ground level and this much part of this is being like above the ground, and also you can see here this is the overflow pipe and this is the inlet pipe. These two are the inlet pipes, and there is a compartment here, and also you can see the outlet pipes for the which are being connected to the distribution mains. And also a slope is being given here, because when the water is being stored here, there is a chance that some amount of dust etc. may get deposited in this, so that will collect here, and due to this slope it comes to the center, and while washing it will be easier. And these are nothing but the washout pipes which are provided at this lower elevation or at the lower slope. And this is the brickwork or the RCC in deep reservoirs, like this is the brick masonry, and you have the RCC roof here, which is being provided with the ventilators at the top. And this is the level of the water that will be stored in this, and this is the to drain it to the gutter or the overflow pipe. When this gets filled, it has been drained through this, and here a wire gauge cover is being provided. This is regarding the surface reservoirs. And the next one is the elevated reservoir, which is a rectangular reservoir which is being shown. These can be constructed in various shapes, and with earlier it was being constructed with different materials also, but nowadays the RCC reservoirs are very common. And here you can see here the inlet pipe wherein the water will be pumped to these elevated reservoirs, and here you can see the outlet pipe, and this is the washout pipe. And to access this reservoir, there will be a ladder being provided from the ground level, and a manhole will be provided through which the personnel can enter here and clean this. And to access the bottom, there are steps being provided. This is the maximum level of water that will be stored here, and again ventilators are being provided for the proper ventilation, and this is the overflow pipe. And to measure the level of water, there is a level indicator also being fitted here. Okay, that's regarding the elevated reservoirs. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is capacity determination of service reservoir. Now, to discuss this, we need to know what is the total storage capacity of a distribution reservoir. Now, that total capacity, it depends on three storages, that is balancing storage, or is also known as equalizing or operating storage, and the next one is breakdown storage, and the third one is the fire storage. Now balancing storage is nothing but the quantity of water that is required to absorb the fluctuations in the demand, and breakdown storage is to cater to the like scarcity that may happen due to the breakdown of any treatment units or the pumps. And then fire storage is the quantity of water that is required for extinguishing fire. So let us see what is the amount of each one of these in percentages. Okay, so coming to the balancing storage, yeah, as I already told, it is to balance the variable or the fluctuating demands against the constant supply, and this can be worked out by utilizing the hydrographs of inflow and outflow, either by mass curve method or by using analytical tabular solution. And the next one is the breakdown storage, that is due to failure of pumps or electricity or any other mechanisms driving the pumps. This is taken into account, and it is difficult to assess the quantity of this storage, and hence a lump sum provision is generally made, which is either 25% of total storage capacity of the reservoir or 1.5 to 2 times of the average hourly supply. And the third one is the fire storage. This is the quantity of water required for extinguishing fire, and generally it is 1 to 4 liters of water per person per day. And it also depends on the importance of the city, whether it is commercially established or whether it is industrial city or whether it is a thickly populated city. Based on that, as we have already discussed, what is the fire demand, that is being taken into consideration, and a amount or the quantity of water is kept reserved here as fire storage. And this is how the capacity determination of service reservoir is being done. So this was regarding the service reservoirs, their functions and types, and also the capacity determination of the service reservoirs. Thank you.